Hey YouTube, this is Soul Prime 13 with another video review. Today we are going to be looking at the third-party Dr. Wu Menace King, their take on a G1 Megatron. Here we have the box. We got some nice artwork there on the front. Some more of that artwork on the side. Just some logo on the top, Extreme Warfare. Got some of the gun mode artwork there. Just some product labels and stuff here. And then on the back we do have a product shot of his alt mode. So there is that. That's about it for the box. We also get our lovely instruction booklet. Very nice. And we do get a nice little collector's card. And here we got our, I'm assuming tech specs here on the back. The very flexible material. Yeah, never unhappy to see a collector card. But that's about it for that. Now moving on to the actual figure here. So this is actually my first Dr. Wu figure. It's definitely smaller than I was expecting. It is a nice little figure for the size, don't get me wrong. It's just I was expecting something probably more along the lines of a core class, and he's definitely smaller than that. He does come packaged in a robot mode. We do have some nice details here. We got a little bit of silver there on the top of the feet. We do have the belly buttons, and his face is nicely painted. It's kind of hard to see, but he does have painted red eyes, as well as a sort of off-white face. We do have his fusion cannon, which can come off if you so choose. Just some bits on the back. Overall, a neat little figure. As far as articulation goes, he does have ball jointed shoulders, which are also on a bit of a hinge for transformation. You get a full 360 there. Elbow does a little over 90, and again it is on a ball joint here, so you can get some side to side. Very stiff ball joint. This piece that's supposed to be the trigger for the gun does tend to fall off a lot, at least on mine. This arm, we do get a ball jointed shoulder again, but this time the elbow is just a hinge. There is some wrist movement, but it's just up and down for the transformation. Head is on a ball joint. And you can get a full rotation, and then this gun barrel does move around, but that's more for transformation. Hip skirts can move out to the side. You do get a decent splits. Knee does under 90 degrees. You do get some up and down at the toe, so there is that. And I think, yeah, the toe is on a hinge, so you can get some slant for posing. And kicking doesn't really go very far forward, but it does go a decent way back. And we do get waist rotation. So that's about it for articulation, which is pretty solid considering the size. Speaking of size, we'll do a quick comparison here. Let's see. Here is the Bumblebee movie core class Frenzy. So, I guess he is around the same size as a core class. And here he is next to a Creo figure. And there's that. So, I think that's about it for the robot mode, so we will move on to transformation now. So the instructions do tell you to take the cannon off, so I'm just going to do that. So you want to take this trigger piece back here, and you're gonna rotate it to face down, and yeah, see, it's already popped off. So I'm just gonna leave that off. We rotate the hand inside. Gonna do that with the other side as well. Then gonna move that to the side, and then pull up on the upper chest, and then straighten out this arm, and then we move this whole thing on a hinge like so over, and it should tab in here. There we go. Then we're gonna pull back on his head, and it's gonna open up this panel, and we're just gonna fold that head in and close that up. Then for this, we're gonna bring it down on this hinge, and we want to rotate this around and bring this down, and there is sort of a little clip and slot here. It doesn't hold the best, but it at least gives you an idea of where you're supposed to set that in. And then we're going to rotate the waist like so. Yep, see, it doesn't really want to stay attached the way it should. We can go ahead and close this and fold the barrel out. And we're going to lift these skirt pieces up like so. We're going to come here to the side and rotate the side panel of the leg. You can see it's just a flat panel on the side. I'm going to rotate that around like so. Do that for both sides like so. Then we're going to bring the legs together at the hips and tab them together. Then we're going to bring this whole assembly up and around like so. Make sure it's tabbed in, and then we're going to bring the feet up, and they're going to tab into these little pegs here like so. There we go. Then for the skirts, we're going to fold out this little piece here and then bring this down, and it'll cover up those parts on the legs. If I can get it to... did I have things lined up wrong? Pretty sure I don't. That's why I have the panel a little too far forward. There we go. And it should cover up like that. And we're just gonna rinse and repeat. Make sure that panel is adjusted properly. There we go. Nice and neat. Then we're gonna bring this trigger piece back and pop it back onto that little ball joint like so. And then bring in that fusion cannon and put it back on top like so. And there we have a little gun mode Megatron in his Walther P-38 mode. And it does look nice, all things considered, for the tiny little dude that he is. Pew, pew, pew. And I just knocked some stuff off the table. Oh well. And he does come with his silencer and stock, so you can just find the notch on the top and slide that over like so. I think that's as far as it goes. And then you do get this, and it'll just plug on over his feet. And there you have the full kitted out G1 Megatron alt mode. And I don't really have any good size comparisons for this mode. I'll bring in the Lego figure again, or the Creo figure, just to give you an idea. But yeah, he does look nice. As far as the figure itself goes, I definitely do enjoy it. And aside from that ball joint on the trigger piece, I don't really have any major issues with it. You know, it's a very small figure, so I definitely give it some slack due to that. Honestly, my biggest complaint with the figure is just the price, which is really my biggest complaint with pretty much all third-party Legends figures. Because this costs more than a deluxe class. This is $30. There are some like New Age that go even further than that, and pretty much if it weren't for their price, I would probably have a lot more Legends style figure, you know, mini, you know, Transformers. They're just so expensive that, you know, if I'm gonna choose between a figure of this size and, you know, a figure that's like leader class size and they're the same price, I'm gonna go for the bigger figure. That is my preference. You know, no shade to anyone who enjoys these little Legend figures. They are fun. I do think they're really cool. I just can't justify the price 90% of the time. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have gotten this guy if I had known that he was a little smaller than I was expecting. But yeah, I don't dislike the figure in any way. It's really just the price. Yeah, and I'm sure that, you know, somebody more skilled than me could probably, you know, tighten up this little ball joint, although it's probably best not to, seeing as how much it, you know, really needs to move around. But I don't know. But yeah, overall, definitely dig the figure itself. It has a fun little transformation. It's a cool little Megatron. I'm glad that they, you know, included all the little extra bits. It's a fun figure. I'd say I'd give it probably I'd say a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 sounds fair, because it is honestly a fun figure, all things considered. You know, for what size it is and what it's trying to do, I think it does a pretty good job. It's not perfect, you know, like I said, this underarm piece doesn't really tab in very well, and this trigger piece pops off all the time. But, you know, everything else feels relatively solid, and it does look good, all things considered. So yeah, I think, you know, if the price isn't an issue for you, go ahead and grab one of these. There are a few different versions. This is just the regular version. I think there's like a Golden Lagoon version coming out, and they also made like the clear purple transformation into Galvatron one, and then there's a toy version with like some red decals and stuff. So that you definitely have some options as far as which version to get. And yeah, overall, I think it's a fun figure. But I think that's about it for this particular review. So this is Soul Prime 13 saying transform and soul out.